I really want my mother to introduce Abhay as her son-in-law. So me and Abhay, we are married, but not in the eyes of law.
I was, I think, losing a little bit of faith in myself. There was so much phobia that it was still a criminal offense.
If you suppress queer people, then I think it's creating unhappiness not only for them but also for people who aren't queer.
To support humanity, you don't need to be queer, right? You just need to be human. The first thing, what happens to a country is a heterosexual couple, they get a bundle of rights when they get married, and they always take that for granted, right? So me and Abhay, we are married, but not in the eyes of law. We are just strangers for each other, right? So whatever ceremony you do, a lot of people, you shout loud, you tell everybody, hey, we are together. But till today, till right now, today, if somebody asks, hey, are you married? I take 2 seconds pause. I really don't know what to answer, because you need a support system. We need a support system because think about it, our inheritance. If tomorrow something happens to me or for Abhay, who will take care of the other things? We cannot even take each other's medical decisions. So there is a situation for the at-risk group. People ask you, who is this other person? I said, my partner. What kind of partner? Your business partner? So our society still don't understand this concept. If I deep-rooted Indian culture, again, you will not understand the concept of living together or, boyfriend, girlfriend. When we say getting settled, still we understand that you're getting married. Right? I think that's how it is. And we are part of this society. We are not aliens, right? We grew up in this society. I mean, it's so important for maybe the emotional aspect. Just say, for instance, I really want my mother to introduce Abhay as her son-in-law, legally, loudly, proudly, not my son's friend or my son live with.
So I think because this is a question of fundamental rights in the Constitution, you don't need social majority support to pass something, right? Even at the time of decriminalization, if you polled the country at large, it's not necessary that everybody, more than 50% would have been in support, but that's not the yardstick. That's not the benchmark for upholding people's fundamental rights. A lot of changes that happen with women's rights may not have had popular support. And that's why law and society are always playing a kind of catch-up game. Sometimes the law is ahead of society, and that's fine. Sometimes society is ahead of the law, and the law follows. So the first point that I'd like to make is that I don't think it's important whether society is completely on board or a majority of society is on board, as long as you think it's a question of fundamental rights and people's rights need to be protected.
To support humanity, you don't need to be queer, right? You just need to be human. So if you ask me that why a ordinary or common man should worry about or think about this case, I think it sounds very selfish. It sounds that I think, as I said, it's coming into the humanity ground right now.
Still a case that concerns everybody else, because if a country and a system is robust in protecting rights of minorities, it means that tomorrow when you are a minority in some dimension and your rights are under question, that system will stand up for you. So this is not just about queer people. As a system, we should hope that our courts and our system stand up for anyone that's oppressed and vulnerable, and therefore concerns everybody else, because you will be vulnerable in some dimension tomorrow, and hopefully the system will stand up for you. And secondly, I would say socially, I don't think non-queer people realize how much this actually does hurt them. Because, when there is a lot of phobia and legal opposition to people being allowed to live their lives, people are forced into taking decisions that involve straight people. So people will end up in marriages dishonestly just because they're too scared to be themselves, and those marriages often don't go well. They'll have children, it will affect the health of children, mental health of children, because there's a lot of unhappiness and discontent in those marriages.
I think there's a lot of human capital which is wasted because, you know, for all sorts of reasons, because people are, and we've gone through this struggle because people are discouraged, because people think that they can't, that certain avenues in the career are just shut off to them because they can't have sort of conventional lives. Whether it's working in government or being in law, being in the police. I can imagine a lot of places which would be very difficult for queer people, to have careers in. And I think that's just wasted resources.
If I talk about this case, I personally have a lot of hope and faith on our judiciary system, because this is the time, this is the right time. We need to move forward, right? And if you again say it's a kind of a sequel, right? The first step definitely was decriminalization, and the next is the rights, the marriage rights, and so on and so forth. So let's hope for the best. We all need to be very, very hopeful to our country, because our country is very generous. I mean, there are a lot of laws changed, and people always adopt everything. So yeah, I'm personally very hopeful to this country and the generation, of course, the young generation in that way. So yeah, of course, there is definitely a brighter tomorrow.